Exodus is a historical record of the Israelites leaving Egypt and leaving the old creation world. In fact, in Genesis, God has continuously redeemed people from Egypt. In the 6th chapter, God saves Noah's family from the world that is about to be destroyed and enters the ark. In chapter 12, God told Abram to leave his father's house and go to the blessed land of Canaan. In chapter 14, God rescued Lot from Sodom. In chapter 31, God reminds Jacob to flee from Laban and return to the land of your father and your father. In the last chapter of Genesis, Joseph prophesied before his death that his brothers would be led out of Egypt by God. From the end of Genesis to Exodus, it is more than 400 years. God did not speak, history did not record. Was it God who had been waiting for the Israelites to follow Joseph's prophecy and come out of Egypt? The wait is too long. The Israelites have been lusting after Egypt for too long. From the end of the Old Testament to the beginning of the New Testament, there were more than 400 years. God did not speak, history did not record. In the Old Testament, God used Moses to send 10 plagues to save the Israelites from Egypt. In the New Testament, God crucified his beloved Son Jesus to save all mankind from Egypt. So Exodus is not only the history of the Old Testament, but also the history of the New Testament, and it is the history of the church and every Christian today. In the book of Exodus, God calls Moses to lead the Israelites out of Egypt. But Pharaoh, who is the king of a world-powerful country, firmly refused. God used 10 plagues, and finally destroyed all the firstborn sons of the Egyptians before Pharaoh surrendered. The Israelites had just left Egypt when Pharaoh changed his mind and led his army in pursuit of the Israelites until they reached the Red Sea. There was the Red Sea in front of the Israelites, and the pursuers behind them. When they were in a dilemma, God parted the Red Sea and rescued the Israelites to cross the Red Sea. The Egyptian army came after them, but God merged with the Red Sea and drowned them. From then on, the Israelites entered the wilderness and rushed to the land of Canaan. In the wilderness, the miracle of dropping pies, manna better than pies, every day occurred for the only period of time, 40 years, in human history. During the day, there are cloud pillars for navigation and sunshade, and at night the cloud pillars turn into fire pillars for heating and driving away animals. 40 years, clothes and shoes are not worn out.